With the chips down and his back against the wall, will Peter Parker find the strength to defeat this new villain, the Goblin Queen, and save Ben Reilly from the Beyond Corporation? Well, let's hop into the pages of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 90 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we join the book, we actually check back on in with Maxine Danger and Beyond High Command. They're quickly coming to the realization that the brainwashing and drying job they did on Ben Reilly may not have been nearly as thorough as they believed. Corporate America, you get what you pay for, am I right? You see, while Ben as Spider-Man did follow his programming to recapture Janie before she could take a bunch of Beyond secrets to the media, he's not exactly sure if he should bring her back. Because, well, unlike the rest of his memories, his love for Janie has yet to be tampered with, and Ben knows full well that returning her to Maxine could be signing her death warrant. Janie's close connection to Ben, too, allows her to realize just how much pain and suffering he's in right now. There are literally pieces missing from the man she loves, and it's really distressing to see. It hurts all that much more too when Janie is the one who has to actually fill Ben in finally on all of the evils of the Beyond Corporation that he wasn't aware of, that his ascension to Spider-Man, that the UFOs and all the other villains he's battled up until now have all been puppeteered by Danger and Beyond. Janie might not have the drive anymore, but she was able to glean one very important piece of information, and that is where exactly Beyond is creating their brand new supervillain weapons. Turns out they got a secret lab over on Staten Island, the place that New York sends its garbage to, and also the place that Pete Davidson is king of, so I hear. Of course, no one would ever think to look. Now back over with Peter, he's still trying to deal with the Queen Goblin. He makes a ton of really great cracks about how goblins are so passé and so overdone, and how the X-Men have a scarier Goblin Queen. Oh wait, Queen Goblin rhymes with Green Goblin? Oh, how did I never see that until right now? Now while Peter is feeling healthy enough to quip, his body still isn't back at 100% yet. It's taking everything he can not to just fall out of the sky while doing battle with this thing. The situation only gets worse too when the Queen Goblin takes him out over open water, over Queens. Haha, get it? A queen in Queens? It's here too Spider-Man ends up getting a taste of the brand new Goblin Gaze, the special ability of the Queen Goblin to bring out a person's worst inadequacies and mental illnesses. In this case, for Peter, it is that eternal question of with great power comes great responsibility. Specifically, is the way Peter lives his life as Spider-Man something that ever could be considered responsible when so many people around him continue to get hurt and die time after time that wouldn't if he had just given up the costume? Peter thinks about this for a little bit while sinking to his death in the river before eventually coming to the realization that trying to weaponize his own self-doubt against him is probably the worst thing a villain could ever do, especially when we consider that Peter basically subjects himself to his own Goblin Gaze every minute of every day. He always questions whether or not he's good enough, whether or not he's living up to with great power comes great responsibility, and he's not gonna let this hurt him. Hell, as far as the question over whether or not Peter is still worthy to take up the mantle of Spider-Man, he is actually only further assured by this when a mental image of Ben comes to him in his own mind. Obviously, Peter is still worthy of the mantle of Spider-Man. Obviously, he's still ready to retain it because, well, he was confident enough in his own abilities to share it with Ben because he knew he needed it. So, you know, in a way, Dr. Kafka actually gave Peter the ultimate therapy session that he actually needed, and he came out on the other side much stronger with the vigor needed to defeat Queen Goblin once and for all. His prize for defeating the Queen, too, just so happened to be her crown, which isn't only a lovely accessory, it's also the main line that Maxine Danger used to try and control her actions from afar. When Peter hears that Ben is planning to assault their Staten Island base of operations, Peter goes to back him up, figuring that between the two of them, one has an untrustworthy body and one has an untrustworthy mind, but surely together as Spider-Men united, as brothers in arms, nothing can overtake them as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Amazing Spider-Man issue number 90, everybody, and I truly think we're beginning the home stretch now for the Spider-Man Beyond story arc, and it's been pretty damn enjoyable, hasn't it? I like that Ben and Peter have both thoroughly had a lot to do in this story, and they both find themselves doing the right thing and heading to the same point, but for completely different reasons. It's also kind of nice to hear Peter refer to Ben as a brother given their complicated history. I don't know if it's really 100% earned or anything, but still, it was a sweet moment, wasn't it? For what it's worth, too, I think Patrick Gleason actually zeroes in on a very interesting idea in this story, and that is that Peter Parker is so sure of himself as Spider-Man, he's confident enough being able to share the mantle. It's an idea I hope they explore a little bit more because I think it's so quintessentially Marvel, especially in a day and age when we see so many different characters inhabiting the same mantle. Overall, I think I'd feel confident giving this one an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a pretty solid issue.
Hey there everyone, Kate Joel again, and I just want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. And hey, if you enjoyed the book I covered in this issue and want some comics of your own, might I recommend Book Depository? It's my #1 place for shopping for comic book trades. You get a great price, and if you use my link down in the description, you'll actually be helping me out at the same time. You get something, I get something, everybody wins, right? So until next time everyone, I've been Joel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.